Hello B.A.T family, welcome back to the Build a Trader YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Joshua and I've been trading for the last 7 years and I am now a licensed securities professional. I now hold my Series 63 and Series 65. In this video, I'm going to be telling you guys how to get your securities licenses so that you also can transition and build a career in the finance industry, whether that be wealth management, financial planning, or even becoming a day trader for some big financial firm. It's all possible, and if that's ever been a dream of yours, like it is mine, stick around to the end of the video and I'll tell you step by step on what you need to do to be able to get licensed and start your career as a licensed securities professional. Alright, so first off, all this information may seem a little intimidating. There's a lot of work that needs to be done in order for you to get these licenses, a lot of time that needs to be put into studying, and then taking the exams. By making this video for you all, I have taken the legwork out for you in determining what steps need to be done and what information is needed for you. I spent countless hours researching this myself to figure out what licenses I would need, what I can get, what I can't get, how to get them. This is what you need to do. For those that live in the United States, the regulatory bodies that issue these licenses are FINRA, the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, as well as NASAA, which is NASA, not the space NASA, but the Securities NASA, which is North American Securities Administrators Association. Now, real quick, for viewers that live in either Canada, the United Kingdom, or in India, and who are also interested in pursuing licenses and transitioning into a professional in the financial services, it's all possible as well. The only difference is that there are different regulatory bodies. Now, I've done some research just to point you in the right direction, but real quick, if you live in Canada, the regulatory body that you're going to want to do research on and figure out the licensing process is going to be the CSA, the Canadian Securities Administrators. One website that I found to be very informative was the Canadian Securities Institute. Looks like they offer materials and educational services so that you can get licensed through them, and offer educational materials similar to what's offered in the United States in order to be prepared to take the exam to get licensed. For those that live in the UK, you're going to want to research the Financial Conduct Authority, the FCA, and in addition to that, you're going to need to get a certificate in securities advice and dealing. Just from the initial Google search that I did, you'll have to look more into that and see for yourself on what needs to be done if you live in the UK. Lastly, India. If you live in India and are interested in becoming a licensed securities professional, this is what needs to be done. You need to be registered with SEBI, the Securities Exchange Board of India, and looks like the licensing is issued through them, as well as the National Institute of Securities Markets, NISM. Look into those two resources, figure out the licensing you need to do, and from there, see what you can and cannot get, and see if you can go ahead and build a career starting from that. Now, for those that live in the United States, this is what needs to be done in order to get licensed and build a career here. So, number one, there's a few ways to get these licenses, right? You can either get employed at some financial firm, you get picked up at, let's say, Charles Schwab or Fidelity, or even JP Morgan, or even a licensed banker at some major national bank like JP Morgan Chase, KeyBank, somewhere big like that, right? Those institutions are going to pay for the licensing and for the educational materials so that you can take the test and pass as a condition of employment. And I know that sounds great, right? Wow, have no licenses, get hired and get paid to learn and have them pay to get them for you? That sounds like a great deal. It is. However, it's very competitive for these financial positions. Trust me, it's been very difficult for myself, which is why I've done this research so that I can get these licenses on my own, and now that I'm building my career, I can tell you guys how to do it. And there's going to be more check-in videos after this. I am just now starting in this field, so later on there's going to be additional videos on how I progress, what I move into, and what my experience has showed me and what I've gained over the years. So that's one way, right? You can have the employer that offers that type of condition of employment and get your licenses that way. Two, You can seek to get a few of them yourself, which is what I did because I was being overlooked by a lot of these companies because they've been choosing people younger than me, people with better four-year degrees, people who went to university, more prestigious universities. It's being overlooked. They were choosing them, even though I may have had a little more experience. The reality is this: if you want to make something happen, you have to invest in yourself, and that's what I did. So, the licenses that you can get on your own that don't require sponsorship, and that's what that is. The companies that sponsor you for these certain licenses that you can only get under sponsorship. The ones that you can get on your own, they also pay for, but those don't require sponsorship. So the ones that don't require sponsorship that you can get on your own include the SIE, which stands for the Securities Industry Essentials. This certification is issued by FINRA, as mentioned earlier in the video, Financial Industry Regulatory Authority. If you aren't familiar with them, go ahead and do a little research, as you're going to have to be very familiar with what they do in the overall markets and what their role is in terms of regulation. The other two that you can get on your own that carry a significant amount of weight and that will gain attention, if you get these two licenses that I'm about to mention here, including the certificate that I just mentioned, the SIE, you are most likely no longer to be overlooked by potential job opportunities that you may have been overlooked in the past. Having these licenses carry a lot of weight. Not many people have them in the United States. I did the math myself. It came out to around 0.2%, maybe even 0.3% at the highest in terms of people in U.S. population and licensed securities professionals. So a very small amount of people have them walking around. They're already working for places. So for people who hold these licenses and are looking for a job, they get scooped up pretty quickly. Those two licenses include the Series 63 and the Series 65. Now, what those are is the Series 65 is the Uniform Investment Advisor Law exam. This exam is very comprehensive. There is a huge book that you have to go through to learn all this material here. The next license is the Series 63, which is the Uniform Securities Agent exam, which is significantly smaller, right? So much smaller than the Series 65. Now, they are both very comprehensive, and both of these licenses are issued by the NASAA, NASA. Not the space NASA, the Securities NASA, North American Securities Administrators Association. It's a long one, but get very familiar with it. North American Securities Administrators Association. Now, in terms of education and resources that you need to be able to get ready for these exams, I use KAPLAN Financial. There are many other resources that you can use as well. I did a lot of research on what was the best financial education company, and what I came across was that KAPLAN Financial had absolutely everything, very high reviews, and used the same terminology that's on the exam. And by studying the same terminology and questions that are very, very similar or identical to those on the exam, it's what is really going to get you prepared. There are other resources, which another one I am aware of is called Achievable, but that'd be the only other one that I could mention that is different than KAPLAN Financial. They have very similar resources, but overall I believe KAPLAN Financial is the better way to go. They will mail you a book, which I just showed you here, and it's all online, videos included, with a series of practice quizzes and exams, and it ultimately gets you ready for the exam so that you can pass on the first try. And I'll be honest, I'll let you in on a little secret here. I myself, and I'm being totally honest, I failed the first time I took the Series 65. And I'll tell you why that is. I wasn't prepared enough, and I was really trying to get out of the job I was in. So I was underprepared and overconfident, and I knew I had a few weak areas going into the exam, but I thought I could pass it. I missed it by just a few questions, so ultimately, after that, just studied harder. I passed with flying colors the second time around. I had, I think, over an hour and 10 minutes left. You get 3 total hours on the exam, and I had an hour and 10 minutes left to spare. I flew through it the second time around, very easy. Now the Series 63, what's interesting about that is that exam is purely based off of one section of the Series 65. It's a subsection. And it's based off of the ethics, regulations, and communications to customers and clients. Basically, it's the same information that's in the Series 65, just a little more elaborated on that particular section. You can go ahead and schedule that shortly after you take that exam, within 2-3 weeks tops, if you're a fast learner and ready to get it done and studying out multiple hours a day. I personally did this with a full-time job working over 40 hours a week at another financial institution. I pay for these licenses myself. They are a little expensive for the courses and the licensing altogether, but like I said, investing in yourself is always worth it. The amount of time it will take you to be able to pass all three the certification and both licenses can take you realistically 3 to 6 months, depending on how much time you're putting in. Let's say you are studying 20 to 25 hours a week, which is a lot. It really is. And you work full time. You're going to have to study quite a bit on the weekends. About 10 hours on the weekends. And if you can, 2 hours a day during the weekday. Either before work or after work or even during your lunch break, which is what I ended up doing. And ultimately, you need to be studying that much to get it done that quickly. Within 6 months is realistic if you're working full time. It is going to be difficult though, especially if you have other obligations. For me, it took a total of 9 months, which could be seen as pretty quick to some people and also could be seen quite lengthy in some others' eyes. For example, if I had been hired by a company as a condition of employment to get the licensing, I would have got it done in 3 months because I would have had just 8 hours a day studying for these things. But when you're doing it on your own time, it's going to take maybe 2 to 3 times as long, which is totally normal. It's still faster than a college degree, and if you don't take the licensing, you're still going to be in the same place you were a year from now. So you have to put the time in to study, put the time in to take the exams, and ultimately you're going to be pushed in the right direction. Once you get these licenses, you're now going to be attracting lots of employers and recruiters. Like I said earlier, there's not that many people just walking around holding their licenses that aren't employed at some firm. So now you're going to be very attractive. You're going to be a hot commodity now you have these. What you're going to want to do, you're going to want to apply at the major banks. You're going to apply at Fidelity, Charles Schwab, really good financial firms, financial institutions. Stay away from smaller name firms. Stay away from institutions that want you to be a salesman, that want you to sell insurance products. Stay away from all that. Stay away from all those Mass Mutual, Northwest Mutual, all that. That is not what you're doing this for. Do not get these licenses and then go work for some crappy company that does not have your best interest in mind. Once you get these licenses, look at the major banks. Chase Bank, Key Bank, US Bank, Wells Fargo, you name it. Other investment firms, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, those are the main ones in my area. In Seattle here, I don't really know too many, but there's plenty of other more than just that. But you want to be with reputable companies that you can build a career and future at. All you need to do is just get your foot in the door. Once you get that experience, you can continue to move up and either can stay with that company or go to a much bigger firm. That's all you need to do. Get your foot in the door, get that experience. You're going to be able to go and build the career and future that you want as a licensed securities professional. Once you get the licensing, you'll need to be able to get 2 more licenses, which are the Series 7 and maybe even the Series 6. And those are the ones that require sponsorship. Most likely once you get hired, they'll have you get those. And then after that, what you can do with those licenses is quite vast. But what interests me and what I am looking for, and what I'm looking to, is to become either a wealth management advisor, financial advising. I also have interest in being a day trader, a municipal bonds trader, forex trader. That's all offered at major investment firms. Not only that, possibly a portfolio manager, asset allocation strategist, asset manager, and eventually maybe I just might be a hedge fund manager or own my own hedge fund. But all that experience, all these different options that you have just by getting your financial licenses, your securities licenses, that door is open if you get these. I'm not sure if any of you have ever dreamed of becoming a securities professional or a big time trader or working at some big financial firm. I have. I've always dreamed of that, from going from a retail trader to going into the professional side of things, the professional financial industry with large capital and being able to make a career out of it. That's what I've always dreamed of from day one. I know there's others out there that have similar goals, so for those watching, this one needs to be done. All resources have been listed in the video description down below. I will make future videos regarding more updates on how I continue to move up in my career, the additional licensing I get, as well as any additional opportunities that have come along the way. This will be a separate series, and I'll just continue to update you all. And for those that are interested, I do have a free Telegram community. It is called B.A.T Signals. It is a trading group. I offer technical analysis, regular news updates, and trading signals as well. Not only that, I do have a paid channel. It's called B.A.T Academy. More information can be found in my free Telegram channel or in the video description as well. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. Go ahead and follow on Instagram, TikTok, X if you haven't already, and looking forward to seeing you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.